Have you been looking for the magic fix on your healing journey and you haven't quite found it? You've tried therapy, you've tried self-help books and podcasts and YouTube videos, and you're feeling like you just can't seem to make any progress. And you're feeling frustrated and defeated and hopeless and thinking that maybe you'll always just be this broken person. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is not true. There are a few things that we need to figure out in order to get the lasting deep change that you're looking for. And no, it's not the anti-anxiety meds. No, it's not therapy. And no, it's not binging self-help. The things that you need are figuring out the patterns that you run, why you're running them, meaning what meaning do you make about yourself and the things and the people around you, how to stop the pattern once you've been triggered, and what to do instead. And here's why those things are going to give you the results that you're looking for way faster and longer than any of the other things that I've mentioned. Figuring out what patterns you run are super important because we learn these patterns in childhood and they influence our behavior. They influence the way that we think about ourselves, about others, about the situations that we've experienced or will experience in the future. And they really are the driving force behind why we do what we do. So there are many patterns. Drop in the comments below if you want me to do a video on the most common patterns that I see. And so just to give you a few examples of patterns that I see a lot of people running, there's the worry stress pattern, there is the overreaction pattern, there is the protection pattern. Those are a few of the common ones I see, but there are at least 7 more that a lot of people run. And usually we're running these patterns and we don't even realize it. So an example of a protection pattern is procrastination. Another example of a protection pattern is people pleasing. So a lot of the patterns that we run in adulthood are patterns that we actually learn in childhood. And we learn these patterns and we run these patterns because they serve a purpose for us. They keep us safe. They allow us to be seen or heard. They get our needs met. Sometimes they're serving or unserving, meaning they're helpful or they're not helpful. And sometimes they create that self-sabotage thing that we do. But we run these patterns because they've helped us along the way. They've helped us to survive. And they become a part of us. They become automatic. They're basically habits and we don't even know that we're running them. And so a lot of times they're in their driver's seat and they have taken over. And because they've taken over and we're running on autopilot, they just happen. And we don't realize it, so we don't know how to stop it. They're the reason we have unhealthy relationships. They're the reasons that we don't think highly of ourselves, we don't take care of ourselves, and we're in this chronic state of depression, anxiety, stress. And so when we can figure out what these patterns are that we run, then that gives us information to move forward and to make some really big changes, but to do it in a way that's gradual and feels aligned so that you can continue to make the change. Next thing that we have to figure out is why we're running the pattern and the meaning that we attach to the patterns. The why for the pattern, maybe it keeps us safe, it gets our needs met, it allows us to connect with others. That is the why. And so when we run these patterns, we often make meanings about ourselves, the people that we encounter, the experiences that we have. So the meanings are, if I run this pattern, then I'll be loved. If I run this pattern, I'll be safe. If I run this pattern, I won't be judged or criticized or rejected. If I run this pattern, I'll be accepted, I'll be valued, I'll be appreciated. And so that is really the key pieces. So we have this pattern, it's in the driver's seat, it's running the show, but we do it because it serves a purpose. It gives us a meaning. It allows us to have a belief about ourselves, even if the belief is no longer true. But if we continue to let these patterns just keep going and going and going and going and going, it's going to keep us stuck. It's going to keep us feeling lost and it's going to keep us feeling overwhelmed. And we're just going to continue to feel like we're in this never-ending cycle of defeat and hopelessness, and we're always going to feel miserable. So we have to figure out how to stop the pattern. We have to figure out how to interrupt it, make it end. And so that is going to be different for each person, but we have to do it in a way that's going to allow us to have the self-awareness that we need to stop the pattern. So we have to figure out, and sometimes we aren't able to do it for ourselves. So we have to cue someone else in to have them help us, because they'll be able to see that we're running the pattern before we can see it sometimes. So that's where it's really helpful to have a support person in place, or like a little accountability buddy, a pattern buddy, so to speak, who can help you snap out of it so that you can do the last piece of the puzzle, which is create a new pattern. And so the trick with this is that you have to create a pattern that's going to replace the existing one at the same level or higher. So let's just say we have a scale of 1 to 10, and when we run the old pattern, it's giving us this satisfaction level at a very high level. So it might be at a 10, or it could even be off the charts. And so when we replace it with a new pattern, we have to find something that's going to be at a level 7, 8, 9, 10 or higher, or else we're going to keep going back to that old pattern because it's going to feel better and it's going to feel like it's working more than the new pattern. If you're looking for guidance on why you're feeling stuck, be sure to check this video out, because it all comes back to those patterns that you run.